Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV on the social. This is the show where you take control and send in questions for me to answer, well, us to answer. As you know, it's been a crazy 24 hours in the world of football, and I thought I'll draft in. Graham's not here tonight, so I'll draft in Scott and Nicky because there's a massive discussion that's got to happen tonight. I think we're going to do on the social a little bit differently tonight. I think we're going to have our little debate, and then what we'll do, we'll get all your questions and your thoughts and everything. So, boys, how you doing? Scott, Nicky, how you doing?
Yeah, all right. Interesting news to wake up to, wasn't it?
Well, I hit it all last night. I was sitting there. I've been laying in bed, just getting more and more angry about it last night. Couldn't really sleep last night. I just think it's a liberty, but we'll get into it. Yeah, I'm all right. Tired.
Yeah, I mean, so the question we're kicking off with is what we're going to be mainly talking about tonight is, will the Super League kill the game we love? Now, we all grew up loving football, like everyone, every football supporter across the globe. You know, we all grew up watching our heroes week in, week out, supporting the team. As you get older, you start going to games and you follow your club across the country, over Europe. Some lucky clubs are lucky enough to do that. And it feels like with what's gone on in the last 24 hours, that's getting ripped away from not us, because West Ham are not involved in the Super League, but the clubs that are involved. I mean, all I've seen today, I've not heard one fan of any of them clubs actually for it. So it's mental. It's mental what's going on.
I've heard a couple of fans that are for it, and there's been a couple of people, like I've done a video last night, you know, a Chelsea fan and an Arsenal fan and all of that sort of thing. But they're not. I wouldn't class them as Chelsea and Arsenal fans, because they're fans of clubs that are winning at the time. You know, they're the likes of the people and this is no disrespect to anyone abroad, by the way, but they're the likes that live in Dubai and India. You know, them fair weather fans who want to support the Man City when they're on top, who want to speak Liverpool, then they'll move to Liverpool in a couple of years when they're on top, and all of that sort of thing. Listen, without a shadow of a fucking doubt, right? And I held back a bit last night, but this is a predetermined attack on the 150 years of English. It's pissing on every single person that came before, and you know will come since. It's pissing on Bill Shankly. It's pissed. All of them 6 clubs have just whipped their dicks out and started pissing on everyone, and that's all they've done. And they are so arrogant. And the thing is, right, Manchester United and Liverpool maybe have got a little bit. Who the fuck are Tottenham to turn around and declare themselves one of the top 6? Who the fuck at the minute are Arsenal? Who the fuck are Manchester City? And who the fuck are Chelsea? Chelsea didn't start winning trophies until 2004. Well, the thing is, it's an absolute fucking joke. Like, and to turn around for them, and you can tell it's all predetermined because they've got like lawsuits and shit. They've got websites ready and all that. They'd already decided this a long time ago.
The statement was released by all the clubs at the same time. And Scott, what's your thoughts, mate? Go on.
Look, this has been in the pipeline since the last one got knocked back. You know, they've obviously that got knocked back, and they all went, "Oh no, we're going to go." You know, the fans are against it, and said, "No, we're not going through with it. We're not going to do it." And then what they've done is they've come up with a way that they can do it, and then just shit on the fans. You know, they don't care. They don't care about the fans. They don't care. They're not bothered about the PR. You know, they're not bothered about what anybody thinks, because they know at the end of the day, the football clubs that they run are just a cash cow to them. And this is the thing. I've seen people who. Not seen people. I've seen people who are against it and seen people that are in a way for it. And for me, it all stems with the fact that there's this generation of football fan that look at football through the eyes of playing FIFA, where the only games that matter are the games where you're playing the elite clubs. And that is the problem that you've got now, because this Americanism of franchising sports is what the owners of Liverpool and Man United, they're the spearheaders in this. They're the ones they're the tip of the spear. They're the ones that have started this all off. You know, so they're the ones we've got to be looking at and pointing the finger at and blaming. And they said Liverpool, as much as I'm not a lover of Liverpool and I'm not a lover of United, their fans, them clubs are built on working class backgrounds. And what is going on with and what they're doing, they're just crapping all over them. And they don't care.
The thing is, what I was going to say is that, you know, I think what's got people's backs up the most is that it was all done secretly. With what's gone on this last year, they've sort of looked at it and thought, you know what, we can do football without fans, and they've done it behind everyone's back. They've not consulted any fans. They've sat there. Now, Arsenal in the summer made 150, 200 people redundant. Liverpool put staff on furlough, and behind their backs, they're all negotiating this big deal. It's like all these top boys, the owners of these clubs, have sat around a table laughing at the fans, thinking, do you know what? There will be a backlash, but we'll get through it. And it's just, you're taking away. Now, listen, as much as I hate Tottenham, I hate Chelsea, I hate Arsenal, I'd miss playing them teams because that's what you do. There's a team now in League One, League Two that their fans dream of one day getting to that Premier League and you play the big boys. And let's not, gloss over it. The big boys are the Manchester Uniteds, the Liverpools, the Cities, the Chelseas. They dream of playing. They're going to be taken out. They're going to be taken out of that league. And I'm all for revamping the Champions League. I'm all for that. It might have been, but to break away and make your own Super League. You're basically West Ham that have worked their bollocks off this season to get into the top four means nothing. Arsenal next season could finish 17th. They don't care. They've got that big European competition. Chelsea could finish 8th.
But this is the thing, though, Ryan. This is the thing this is why it's such a kick in the teeth. Is that what do you think? We're going to allow these fucking 6 teams to swan off to this Super League, then come back to our league just because they are who they are, with a £3.5 billion advantage on everyone else, sweep us all aside and make our league unfucking playable, because they'll either absolutely fucking dominate our leagues with the extra money and the attraction of players, or they'll just piss it all down the drain. And don't worry about it. It's basically 38 friendlies for them on a weekend now. Getting ready for this,
like what they do in the rugby. Like what they do in the rugby with the British and Lions when they go on tour and they take the teams as players. And during the week, they'll just play like reserve teams.
Right. Look, hope is not all lost. I don't give a fuck if they've got sanctions, legal action. Let these 6 clubs pick. The only people I feel sorry for, and this goes for all of the clubs. This goes for all of them clubs. This goes for even Spurs fans, who I think are the biggest bunch of tossers I've ever met in my life. But I sit there tonight and I feel sorry for them because they're between a rock and a hard place tonight, because they think like you got to think like, well, they're going to not let us allow us into the English league. They're not going to allow us into the Champions League. They're not going to allow our players to play in Europe, and they're not going to allow our players to play in World Cups and all of that sort of thing. So it's Super League or nothing, or there's no club, or there's nothing to go and say. But what they need to do tonight is them fans is they need to. It's like one of them things. They've got to suck it up, because all is not lost. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that separates Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool from fucking Thames Ironworks, who play over Wanstead Flats on a Sunday, the only thing that separates them is the people that watch them and money that comes into the clubs. That is the only thing that separates grassroots clubs from the elite clubs, and that is the people that watch them. I don't give a fuck about Real Madrid or Barcelona. They've basically done that to their league for fucking donkey's years. They take the money out of the La Liga and leave everyone to feed on the scraps. That's what they've been doing to them for years and years and years. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter to them. They're probably a bit the same as Italy as well. The big clubs take the chunk of it. The reason why the Premier League is so exciting, and the reason why these, big 6 clubs are big 6 clubs, is because, and there's 6 of them and not 2 of them like there is in Spain, is because everybody's competitive. Everyone can beat everyone. We've got the most exciting league in the world. What do they think they're going to do? They think they're going to walk away and create this fucking Super League, and everyone's just going to go, oh, fuck the Premier League now. We don't need them. What defines them into big 6 clubs? Because out of the ashes of them big six clubs, this could be the very thing that we need, because it could have an uprising. But what it's got to do now is it's got to take all them fans and all that, because the Budweisers, the McDonald's, the Samsungs and all that, who like to sponsor these big tournaments, because you think this Super League's been paid for by a bank for the rest of its life? It fucking ain't. They're going to need to attract sponsors. The only way you attract sponsors is to get eyes on the product. If the fans turn in mass against them and they abandon products and they abandon sponsorship and they abandon this and abandon that, the sponsors won't want to touch it. Do you think, honestly, if there's such this bad backlash, do you honestly think McDonald's, right, are going to risk half the fucking country not walking into a McDonald's for the rest of the fucking year or whatever?
I'll be honest with you though, mate. People still will go to McDonald's. They will still buy Samsung TVs. The thing is, they will buy. But the reason that they pump this much money is because it generates extra sales. You can generate extra sales, but if you're losing you're losing the sales already. It makes it null and void. Cut them from monetization. Yeah, mate, I totally agree. And the thing is as well, these six clubs, they haven't thought about the national team either, because none of these players will be allowed to play. And do you really think that Harry Kane is going to want to stick around at Tottenham if he's never going to play for England again? Do you think that Mason Mount? Do you think that Foden? Do you think all these young English players?
What happens to the players, Ryan? What happens to the players? Because they're sitting there at their Scott. They're sitting there at their clubs, right? They've got two choices. Yeah, they sell their shirts, their image rights, and that to fans. If fans turn around and go, you know what? Fuck you. Even the Spurs, Tottenham, Arsenal, and all that fan. It's all right for the people up the top going, yeah. But if fans start turning against the likes of Harry Kane, if they can't play for England, if they can't do this and their fans stop watching them and buying their shirts, they can't make any fucking money. Like, there's so many things to think about. Because they're fucked now. They're fucked. And the only thing that makes them top six clubs and what makes them this European Super League, right, into this European Super League, yeah, it's going to be players, the best teams around the league. Is Harry Kane not going to want to play for England?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying.
Is Phil Foden going to want to chuck away an international career to go and play out in wherever they're going to do it? Or you know what I mean? It's a waste of time. But go on, Scott, jump in, mate.
This is the thing, is that it's again boils down to what I've said before. It's what the players are playing football for. Don't get me wrong, they do it for a job, but you play football because you enjoy playing football. You play football for the love of the game. Now, like you said, when you're a kid growing up and you're playing football, it's playing for your club, your club, playing for your country. You know, now a lot of youngsters around, it's for the money. And this is the big problem, is what UEFA and all that are going to be able to enforce with these clubs. They can enforce the banning and playing for the national side, because it be FIFA and UEFA won't sanction the league. So any players that play in it will not be allowed to represent the national sides. So that's one thing. The problem is that it's getting the money took out of the game. You know, JP Morgan, who are sponsoring it, will sponsor anything that's put forward that's a better proposal than that, because they know how much money's made into it. And now this is
what makes the money. This is what I'm trying to say to you. It's all right saying, "Oh, JP Morgan this, JP Morgan that." It ain't making any money if no fuckers watching it. Because if the players turn around and revolt, say for instance, Harry Kane turns around and goes, "I'm not going to play for Tottenham." All of a sudden, without Harry Kane, Tottenham are a fucking average team.
The thing is, though, Nick, I know what you're saying there, Nick, but what you got to realise is that football fans over here, we're a small island compared to the Asians and all them that are going to watch it. So that's where they're going to generate their money from. And you can't go and tell people in Dubai and Saudi Arabia and all that want to watch this football, don't watch it, because they don't give a fuck about us over here. Mm-hmm. These loyal fans, that working class fans, like, you know, as you said, I feel so sorry for. I've spoken to Tottenham fans today. You know, I feel sorry for them because they're embarrassed because fans are turning on them, and it's not nothing to do with them. It's not even the players. Even yesterday when Solskjaer got interviewed, it was like he was a bit shook. You know, he didn't know what was going on, and they shouldn't put them in that sort of position.
Then do you know what? If it's the fucking European, you know, giants that they want to see in Malaysia and Asia and all that, form a new club. Tell them to fuck off. Tell them to fuck off to Miami or Dubai or whatever. Take whatever players they've got, fuck off over there, and let them form a new club in the grounds that they've got here. There's no benefit to them now being here. They're not going to be in the league, and they're in a rock and a hard place, right? Because look, China think like Chinese football. They wanted to buy all these players, fucking run it into the ground, run it into the ground, buying all of these fucking overhyped, over thingy players and paying them fucking millions and millions and millions of pounds. It's not sustainable. The only reason people like Barcelona and Real Madrid are up for it, as I said before, they've been doing it to their own league for years and years and years, and they're in a fucking financial mess. Of course, they're going to want to fucking take £3.5 billion off of someone because they can't sustain anything otherwise. But these big six, and this is the thing about these big six clubs, right? They can live without that money. They generate enough money here. It's pure greed. They want to turn it into some American franchise, but take them, fuck them off. Do you know what? Abandon the fucking football grounds, right? And turn around to the fans of them clubs, the fans that got to stay here that don't support it, turn around and say to them, do you know what? You're welcome to the ground. You're welcome to this. You're welcome to that. We'll go and move all this over to Asia. We'll take any players that we want to go. You pick up the remnants of it. What's the difference?
I just feel like, as I said at the beginning of the show, mate, we all grew up loving football, supporting football, wanting to watch our heroes. And this next generation that fans have coming through, and it's just greed. It's just money. I mean, I watched Gary Neville's interview yesterday on Sky, and I got goosebumps listening to him because he was talking as a fan. He was talking, and he said he's made money from football, that he owns a football club, but it's just to see someone like Gary Neville. You could see it in his face how angry he was getting. And that's what you want. You want to see a lot of people now coming out. And I've been hearing it all day on the radio, on Sky Sports News when I got home. People were saying about Sky ruined football when they broke away and made the Premier League. But they broke away and made the Premier League, but you still relegate teams and promote teams. The Super League ain't going to do that. Tottenham can finish, or Arsenal can finish bottom of that Super League every year. It doesn't make a difference. No one can qualify for that Super League. I mean, they're talking about inviting 5 other teams. I mean, what that's like fucking,
combat.
Yeah, no, do you know what it's like? When you don't get invited to a wedding, you say, "Oh, why am I invited?" And they make up an invite for you. Go, "Oh yeah," well, they stick us on the back table. See,
but that's the problem is that when you look at all the people that are kicking off at the minute, I'm still Alec. You look at all the other people, all the the media outlets and things like that kicking off. Sky and the Premier League have a lot to do with how this is all started and all kicked off. They've made this monster. They've allowed, and UEFA as well. They've allowed these clubs to get as big as they are. That now they hold the cards. And that's what they're doing. They're putting their marker out, saying this is what we want to do. Now try and stop us doing it. And that's the thing. We are now in a situation where they've got the power, they've got the control, and it's now a chance for the FA, for UEFA, and FIFA to claw this power back. But don't get UEFA and FIFA are only getting involved because they're not in the pot. They're not getting their palms crossed, and that's the only reason they're picking up. That's
the thing. That's the thing that is so. There's a beautiful poetry to it, really, because they've spent Sky, fucking UEFA, the FA, all of them people have spent the last 30 years fucking us over, and now they need our help because we're the only people now that can stop this shit from happening. We're the only people. Fans are, and they're on their knees, please, please, please. And it all depends on whether you're going to forgive them or not. It all depends on whether you're going to.
There's a lot of fans attending grounds around the country. I see a big thing about Man City fans organising something for 6 o'clock tonight that fans go there and protest. Just before I come on here, I was watching Leeds fans outside Ellen Road. This is going to be...
to be honest with you, right, if they wanted to make a huge protest and a huge thing, a huge thing, what they should do, the Leeds fans, they should stand in front of the fucking ground and don't let that coach go in. And if any Liverpool player tries to enter that ground, fucking throw stones at them until they fuck off.
This is the thing, though, Nick. I see your video earlier, and it was a great video. And the thing about West Ham Chelsea on Saturday is that if West Ham fans done that, we'd get punished. The Premier League should make hang on, but the Premier League should make that decision for us and make that and step in and say, do you know what? West Ham shouldn't be punished. Here's your 3 points. Here's your 3-0 win. Do you know Chelsea shouldn't be allowed to play the FA Cup final? You know, the League Cup final on Sunday. Cancel it. Null and void it. Fuck them.
The problem. This is the thing. The problem they've got when you look at whatever they want to do, they need to. There's an avenue that they have to go down, and what you've got to look at is what rules have been breached, so that they can be punished by the FA or by the Premier League. That's the thing. That's what I'm sure now. That is what the FA and Premier League are working on. That if these clubs do go through with this, how they can be punished.
There's a meeting tomorrow in now that the rest of the Premier League clubs have got with the Premier League and the FA that these 6 clubs ain't been invited to. So I'm sure that there's something massive going to come out of this.
Yeah, but they would have had their palms crossed, mate.
Exactly, and that's what I was saying in our group earlier. You know, this is the worry. They only need 8 out of them 14 to side with them, and it gets passed.
Scott, after this backlash, mate, I can't see that. I honestly can't say that. Because if West Ham agree to that, you imagine what it's going to be like on Saturday.
Exactly. But it was the same.
If Leeds, if Southampton, any other Premier League team, their fans will go mad.
Oh, of course, mate. Of course. But that's the problem. It's whether their palms have been crossed. You know, already. Has that money been said? Is there a thingy in the pipeline of, well, you know, if you let this Super League go ahead, we'll guarantee that you lot get this amount of money.
I mean, let's look at that top 6. Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal to an extent. You know, they've got a massive history, you could say. But I'll tell you one team I'm very surprised at, and they've done a lot over the past 10 years to build their community, and that's Manchester City. And the way they've built up their youth, their women's football especially, you know, what they do for that community in Manchester, I'm surprised. And their owners, you know, I know they splashed the cash, but they've seemed like pretty decent owners over the years. I'll be honest. They've just pissed all over that.
I think they've badly misjudged it, and I wouldn't be surprised if they was the first team to pull out.
Yeah, because I'm with you, as we were saying off air. You know, they were, by the sounds of it, they were one of the last teams to. You know, they sort of joint it on the understanding, thinking
even if they do pull out, they're only pulling out because of the backlash. The thing is, they still sign that deal. They still agree to that deal, and this is the problem here. These clubs, they ain't even consulted their fans. They've not even consulted anyone. They've just done it behind people's backs. We're in the middle of a crisis. You know, no one can attend football at the moment. People are losing their jobs. People are, you know, mental health's at the highest, and fucking they've just done it all behind their back. They're laughing. These football clubs are laughing at their fans, and they're laughing at the FA. They're laughing at FIFA. They're laughing at the British football.
It makes me. I'll be honest, it makes me want to go to Stratford on Saturday and just smash that fucking Chelsea coach up and don't force him. I don't want to allow him in.
It's not the Chelsea players. It's not the Chelsea players.
It's not the Chelsea players. But the Chelsea players have got nothing to do with it, I know. But I don't want the fuckers in there. I don't want to, as a club, as an entity, that they should fucking write to them tonight and turn around and go, you're not welcome here. Turn up at your own risk, because you won't be allowed. You'll just be locked out. So whether we get dock points, get fucking relegate, well, I don't give a shit anymore. It's about more. And like I love banter with other fans. I love rivalry of other fans and all of that sort of thing. But I would stand by a Tottenham fan, a Chelsea fan, who tonight is you know, they've lost their club. They've lost it because this is the first step. You know, it's basically the league are now turning around and going, right, no one, you know, we don't give a fuck about what you say. We don't give a fuck about. They're all out of it. They'll have no other option but to follow Chelsea or follow Tottenham in the Europa Super League, and then. That don't work out. They want to come back, and they might not be allowed back. There may be these clubs might, you know, not exist. But you know, that's 6 big supported clubs, and even if they go around and have fucking worldwide fans, right? They're not allowed back in the domestic leagues. They don't want to go and watch the Europa Super League. They're about clubs, and I feel so sorry for them. You know, for a fan that's had, you know, felt over the last sort of 5-6 years that my club's been ripped away from me. This has been done overnight. I feel so sorry for them. Even like the likes of, you know, the boys over at Tottenham TV that, you know, we don't exactly get along with. I feel sorry for them. They're fucked now. even like Carefree Lewis, who me and him have had a bit of banter over the last, I'd fucking give him a cuddle at the minute because they've just had it ripped away from them like that. And even if they don't feel that way, in the fact that they don't feel like that their club, we'll take some comments in a minute. Sorry, I know we're batting on. But even if they don't feel like they've had their club ripped away at the minute, it's only, I'll tell you now that the way it's gone, it's only going to end bad for them because it's not going to be too long before Chelsea are going to be Seattle Chelsea. It ain't going to be too long before Manchester United are going to be the Mumbai Manchester club. You know what I mean? Like, they won't be able to sustain it in this country if fans fucking like stick to their guns. And I will stick by anyone. And as I said, I will turn up to that ground on Saturday because the players, I got no problem. But West Ham should, as I said, write a letter to the FA, write it to Chelsea, say you're not invited, you've basically dicked us all. You're not welcome to turn up in this ground to play the game Saturday if the league want to dock us point. But we shouldn't even be we shouldn't even have to make this decision. This should be down to things. I don't know why they're letting Liverpool play tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure that meeting tomorrow, mate, something's going to come out of it. One thing as well, I mean, I know there's been a lot of talk about people saying relegate the 6 clubs and bring up 6 clubs from the Championship. Listen, if teams like Manchester United, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool go down to the Championship, where do you think people are going to pump the money into? The Championship will be getting more TV rights than what the Premier League will. And that's the problem. Yeah. You know, you could relegate them to the National League and then the National League will get more money pumped into them. I just don't know what you can do because, look, if they cancel that, say if they turn around tonight and said, right, the Super League's cancelled, we're not going to go over it. Where there's no, I can't see a comeback for these clubs. I can't see a way back for them because they're just going to be, no, it's
right. They look at it. They're so in their own financial bubble of we are the best. We generate all the money. They look at it that fans only watch the Premier League because they're in it. That's the world that they live in.
But then so does Sky, Scott. So do talk. Exactly. That's all they talk about.
Exactly, and that goes back to my comment earlier that this is the monster that the Sky and the Premier League have created because they've allowed this to happen. Yeah, but that's the thing. These teams need to remember the Premier League is only as good as it is, not because they're in it, but because all the 14 other teams are in it. Because the 14 other teams make it exciting. Because you could turn up. Man City could be sitting top of that league now, as they are. Could be on a run of not lost the game in 20. Play Sheffield United and get beat. That's the thing.
That happened the other week, Scott, with West Brom.
Yeah, and that's what it is. That's what they forget. They forget they are nothing without the other clubs in this division and below us. Where are they going to loan their youngsters out to? Because if I'm a football club, I ain't taking none of them youngsters out.
You honestly think
no business with
let's be honest as well, right? And let's be fair. Let's have a look at the clubs in it: Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, AC Milan, and then the 6 English clubs, right? Maybe Man City would be okay. Maybe Chelsea would be okay. But do you think Arsenal, Tottenham, Manchester United, whoever else, do you think if they consistently, say for instance, it went on for 10 years, if Arsenal finished bottom of that Europa League for 10 years on the spin, do you think they'd still have the fan base abroad? Do you think Tottenham will? Do you think Manchester United will? If they don't win, fuck all, nothing. If it's all or nothing in this European Super League, they're not allowed in the domestic league. Do you think, apart from the diehards that would have gone because they're not going to want to follow it, do you honestly think these clubs from these Chinese fans or Korean fans, Tottenham because of Son, are big in the Far East at the minute, right? Because people follow and they've got a bigger fan base. But when they start finishing 9th in the Europa League out of 10, 9 years out of 10, do you think they're still going to have them fans? No, they would have moved on to the Manchester Cities. And if it happens to Manchester City, they're going to move on to the Real Madrids. It's not sustainable for them. They're not a big club.
Have they thought about the cost that it's going to add on for the fans per season when you've got to travel to Real Madrid one week, PSG or not PSG, Juventus
Juventus.
the week after. They just haven't thought about the fans, and this is what it all comes down to. And the only Nicky was saying earlier, the only people that can make a change for this is the fans. They've got to stand together. They've got to talk. They've got to get something done. It's ridiculous.
This again, with what this attitude of is disregarding the fans, is the fact that again we've seen it at our own club. They don't want the working class fan there. They want the middle class, the upper class fan, the foreign tourist coming in, watching the game, spending the money. And these are the people that will pay the money to go out to Juventus on a Wednesday night and then the next week go to Barcelona. Because
why do you think,
they're
Scott,
the ones they want? They don't want.
Why do you think that people watch the Premier League and things like that? Why do you think there's people in America, India, China that support West Ham? Because they love the work, like whether they're middle class, whether they're upper class, they love the working class roots of them clubs. Once you cut them roots, they're nothing but a Las Vegas Raiders, Arsenal, and they'll be and they'll move to reflect that. Tottenham will be nothing but Tottenham White Sox. It cuts the whole history. They've just spat, as I said, they've spat in the face of everyone, and I feel so sorry for the fans. There's fans there that are never going to get their club back. They've in one night, it took one day. They've made this decision and they've cut this away from them supporters. And I feel so sorry for them supporters, but they've got to be strong, And I know it's difficult because we've been in similar situations. You can say everything now, but when, Chelsea are playing Barcelona, you can't go. You can't go, and you've got to stick up against it.
Yeah.
Because the more times people sort of sneak back and think, "Oh, just go to this one game, see what it's like." Nah, fucking, you just handing them what they want.
That's the problem, and if it was say it was West Ham, right? Say we was in that situation, full well there'll be fans still going to the games.
I won't let them know why.
Yeah, I know, but then you'll have to do a Lazio type thing where they surrounded the ground and didn't let fans in.
I wouldn't let that happen as a West Ham fan, because that once them fans start walking into them stadiums, your club's dead. It's dead because once they fill it, they're not going to worry about you. That's what they have to link together. Them Chelsea fans, them Arsenal fans, them Man United fans have got to stand outside Old Trafford, and anyone tries to go in them grounds, they've got to fucking whack them with sticks if they have to. That's what they've got to do. They've got to stop the people from going in there, stop them from buying the tickets, sabotage the ticket office. They've got to do all of that sort of stuff because they just need to make it so difficult. Do
you know what it needs? It needs some players to make a stand as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It needs some players to come out and voice their options and say, I'm not playing in it.
I think there has been a couple of players come out, and you've seen today the news about Jose Mourinho. He's definitely done something there, because you wouldn't sack him 6 days for a cup final. Jurgen Klopp's come out and said that he's not for it. So you never know. There might be a stand, because these are the sort of managers that they want in that Super League.
They want the name.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. You want the Jose Mourinhos, the Guardiolas out there, Do you know,
we forgot to mention as well right at the start when we were saying about our Arsenal laid off staff and Liverpool were furloughing. Let's not forget Spurs borrowed nigh on 100 million off the government.
To be honest with you, Scott, if there was the English government and they're fucking off and pissing about with the economy, I'd ask for that back tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And that's the thing. Everybody's got to stand firm. Everyone who's against it. Look, if people are for it, that's their opinion. I'm not going to, as much as I said what I said about this FIFA generation and all that, if that's your opinion and you support it, then, that's fine. But we're not looking at it as West Ham fans. We're jealous because you're all going to be getting all the money and you're going to be playing these games. It's nothing to do with that. It's about making sure that football sticks to what football in this country was built on, and that's the values of the people, values of the fans, because there's so many clubs. Our club is one of them that was built on the back of working class people,
Scott, there's teams in that championship that I'll consider bigger than the Spurs. You know, with history. If you're going to go down history, I mean, what justifies Spurs being in that top 6 when, all right, they've been in the Champions League for a few years. Leicester won the Premier League the other year. Leicester have been flirting with the top 4 for the last 3 or 4 years now. You know, and that's nothing against. Like, I'm not saying it because I'm a West Ham fan. I'm talking as a football fan. You want to start going on things like that. What justifies them being a top 6 team? It's just crazy. But look, listen, everyone in the chat. When I know we've spoke for a little while, but look, if you've got any questions for us, start getting them in now. We'll be here for another 15 minutes. We'll start answering your questions. If you want to ask us West Ham related questions, then you can. But if you want to stick to the Super League, then just send in your questions.
Honestly, mate, I just think it's a joke. It's a joke. The thing is, if they get chucked out, we're in the Premier League. And we'll be 9 points clear.
Lewis is saying that Leeds players are wearing protest t-shirts in the warm-up. I mean, I haven't seen that, so I don't know how true that is. But if that is, that's a massive statement as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's player standards.
But the thing is, as well, right? If the best players walk out, then the best players ain't playing for the best clubs. You know, and that goes for the likes of fucking Ronaldo and Messi and all of them fucking wankers that have made nearly £9 billion out of football. You know what I mean? If you're really a man of the people, to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to be in their position at the minute. And they've got, none of them are piss poor, are they? They've all got money to walk out. Someone's got to give them a job. If Harry Kane walks out of Tottenham, he can go and play for fucking anyone.
But this is the thing. This is where you could get players making a stand. You know,
this is where it could make a whole. This is what I'm saying, Scott. This is where it could make a whole reset because they're contracted under them terms. What are they going to do? Sack them? They're not.
And that's the thing. It said a player can turn up tonight for a Liverpool player who's against it, walk out, turn up, and turn around and say, "Do you know what? I ain't playing. I don't." Chelsea players could do it tomorrow. You know, and that's what you want to see. That's what you want. You want to see the players.
That will be a massive statement if they've done that. But Lee Smith's asking, "What's your thoughts on Jesse?" Because obviously with Jesse Lingard now, this might change his thoughts on what going back to Man United. You know, so. There's a lot of it's going to roll on. It's going to roll on for weeks, probably all over the summer. But I mean, what's your thoughts on Jesse Lingard? Do you think that might sway him on maybe sticking with West Ham or moving to another club, not going back to United?
See, my opinion on all what's going on with these clubs is that, as much as it pains me to say this, we shouldn't do any business with these clubs at all. No, we shouldn't. No team in this country should do any business with any of these top 6 clubs. Not loan any of their players. Just literally, treat them as outcasts. Don't have anything to do them. And if that means we lose Jesse Lingard because of it, then so be it. But that's the thing. Look, I'd love Lingard to
start. They want to brag about how much money they've got and all that. If any of these big clubs come in, right? Go, yeah, boy, you can buy them for £1 billion.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. That's my opinion. We shouldn't deal with any of these clubs.
Tim saying Declan Rice, who can afford him now? They can afford him, but would Declan Rice want to give up his international career to go and play in that? This is what I'm saying. There's going to be so many players, especially at the beginning of their international careers, that are going to think to themselves, do I want to give that up? Do I want to give up international football? Do I want to miss the opportunity to play in World Cups, in European Championships, just to go and play in a... Let's face it, it's like an NFL, isn't it? It don't matter if you're a shit team, you're still there next season.
It's a European version of the MLS. That's all it's going to be. The biggest franchises are in it. And then every so often they'll let somebody else in have a go just so that they can whip them and say, see, this is why you're not one of the elite. That's all it boils down to.
Yeah, someone said, Frank saying, what will happen to the Europa Conference if these big clubs go? Will it still be realised? I feel it's unnecessary now, less alone with these big sides. It's true, isn't it? It's going to affect so many competitions. And even in this country, the pyramid of English football is going to be crushed. You know, you take out these top 6 sides, it's going to crush financially. And
I'm a bit gutted Graham couldn't come on tonight because I've been talking to him about it all day, and he's got some really good views from. He's a little bit older. He's not overly older than me, but he's a little bit older. He's a different, that different generation that he first got into football, and he's got some really good views on it. And hopefully we can get him talking about it on Friday Night Pint and see what his views are. But he's got some really good ones that would have come across from a different, he's that little bit older, isn't he? So he sees it from a different point of view. But he says for him, modern day football is killed his love of football.
Well, look at the football. Yeah, we grew up, Scott, supporting West Ham in the early 90s and 2000s, and we loved our time going over there. And we noticed the difference now. So you imagine what this older generation must think that went in the 60s, 70s, 80s. But Craig Sam, what do you reckon was the reason Mourinho got sacked? Me personally, I think, love him or hate him, Mourinho's a football man. And I think that he refused the players, apparently, to take them training this morning because out of protest. So if that tells me that they've done that behind his back, and that's what I think what's happened with all the clubs.
What that also tells me, Ryan, is that these people are not just trying to make public spectacles of it. He's turned up to work this morning and went, "You're not going out there. Fuck this." He knows he's going to get in the news, but he could have made more of an impact at a game doing that. What impact? Yeah. What an impact it would make tonight if they. What time's this kick off? Because I'm very interested to see what's going to happen.
8 o'clock.
But what an impact it would make tonight if both teams, as he blew the whistle, sat on the floor and didn't play.
Yeah.
Both teams, including Liverpool.
That might be one of the reasons why he did get sacked, because he might have turned around and said I'm so shocked that they've sacked him 6 days before a cup final. They brought him in to win trophies.
There's more to that, mate.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. They've turned around and said it's because he ain't got top 4, but there's still 6 games left of the season. So, let's be honest. You've seen Chelsea do it before. I think they would have, if they were going to sack him, they would have waited till after the cup final to sack him to see if he won that, and then they probably still would have let him go at the end of the season if he had won the cup final. So there's obviously I think Mourinho was out the door at Spurs at the end of the season anyway. I think that the writing was on the wall because they're not happy with him, and maybe he has done that, and they've just thought, right, that's
it wouldn't surprise me if it was a bit of a publicity stunt on his.
Yeah. Listen, it's not like he ain't going to earn any money out of it. Do you know what I mean?
I think Gary Neville sort of summed it up perfectly about tonight's game. Is Leeds versus Greeds. Owen saying, what would you like to see done to these clubs involved? I mean, what do you think is the perfect punishment for them?
To be honest with you, right? I'm going to be totally honest. I think all of these, I've got no sympathy for UEFA or anyone like that, because I think, and especially in light of recent events and all this sort of thing with, these clubs that are racist and all that, they bang on about they want to ban racism out of football and all of that sort of thing. A player called someone a monkey or whatever he called him, and he's been banned for 10 games. That's what I read today.
That's the minimum ban as well.
Minimum ban of 10 games, right? And they want to give these clubs a £50,000 fine and all that. Disgusting. Yet they go against their fucking whatever it is, yeah. And they want to chuck these people out for life and stop them from playing international football. So if they've got that sort of power, why aren't they wielding it to stop all of this bollocks going on? If they've got that sort of power. So I've got no fucking, I've got no sort of sympathy for them fucking mugs upstairs. Absolute fucking scumbags up there that just talk about lining their own pockets. No, absolutely. I've got no sympathy for them.
If it was me, I'd see out the season, let the season finish, then deduct them enough points so that they don't win anything. Take them out so they don't finish in the Champions League spaces. So if you got City top, United second, Chelsea third, Liverpool fourth, deduct them the points so that they all go in outside of the European competitions. Fine them, let them go and do their little Super League, but then ban any club around the world, and FIFA have got the power to do this, ban any club around the world for having any dealings with any of them clubs. So that all they can do is just transfer players amongst themselves. So no loaning the youngsters, no buying players, no selling players to them, and see how long they last in their own little bubble then.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point, mate. And Lewis is saying hit it where it hurts. I mean, points deduction is where it hurts them. You know, who was the team in? Was it Bolton had to start on like -30 or something like that this season? Sound ridiculous. So, you know, this is what you got to do. You got to hit them where it hurts. And as you said there, Scott, that's a great point, mate. You should that they can't buy from any other clubs. They can only transfer between themselves because, as you said, how long will that last?
Exactly. That's it. That's the thing. That's how you stop.
And another thing as well, if they do decide that they want to then leave that European, they've got to do what Glasgow Rangers done: start at the bottom, start at the bottom of the pyramid, and work your way. If it takes 5 years, 6 years, whatever, that's the punishment, and they deserve it.
But this is the thing. That don't get me wrong. I'll be exactly the same if we were doing it. I'll be exactly the same.
It's going to take a bit of sacrifice, though. And it's going to take a bit of sacrifice to wrestle this game back. But I've been saying this for about a year now. I've been saying it for more than a year. You've got to wrestle the power back before it's too late. And it's getting to the point where it's too late. It's do or die now. If these Arsenal fans are sitting there tonight, or Man United fans or Chelsea fans are sitting there tonight saying, no, abandon it. And then 2 weeks down the line that they can't, they've lost the Champions League final and the League Cup's been scrapped and they're told they're not allowed. And they go, well, I've got no choice but to go. So you have got a choice. We've all got a choice. But this is do or die now for fans. This is this is the time where you got to stand outside grounds and sacrifices have to be made because they know every time you turn around, they're like an abusive partner. They know they can abuse you and they can do whatever. And the football is like that, isn't it? It's like that with football, even with us. Like over the past 5-6 years. Look, we've made a channel on this 5-6 years. I ain't stopped fucking whinging about the owners. I still go over there. You know what I mean? But I do. And it's like they can do whatever they want to me. Like I'm like that boyfriend or that girlfriend that keeps on going back to that and getting smacked up and but thinking it can change. It's do or die. You've got to stand outside, and that's what I'm saying. I'll quite happily give up my Saturday, not doing a watch along and turning up to that thing and stopping that Chelsea coach from getting in. Because if they get in and they accept it, our game is dead. It's dead. It's going to kill it. The whole thing.
I mean, Lee's saying here, what does it mean to us at international level? The Big Six represent 80% of our England team. And that's what I'm saying. One thing it will mean is that Mark Noble will probably get his first England cap. That's what I'm saying. They haven't thought about our international team.
You might even get an international cap.
The thing is, look,
mate, let me tell you something now. If Titus Bramble can get one, I'm still not retiring from international football.
Let's not forget, it's not going to just affect our national team. It's going to affect a lot of national teams.
I know, mate.
And the thing is, what you'll then get players in there on form, players in there who want to play for the country, want to represent the country and are proud to do it, and not players that are just there for the sake. Oh, I've got to be here. That's what you get.
I don't think. I'll be honest with you, Scott. I don't think the England squad's had that attitude over the past few years.
No, they haven't. I'm not saying they have now, but that's the thing. You can go out and find another 23 players who are willing to put their body on the line to represent their country.
Tubbs is saying, do you guys think the departure of the Big Six will cause the Premier League to become a bit more competitive with more teams being able to qualify for Champions League and win the league? And that is a great point because, there's a lot of teams in that Premier League. I mean, it's like West Ham this season. And look, I'm going to say West Ham because I watch West Ham week in, week out. The effort that them boys have put in this season, for that just to be taken away from them because of them top 6 clubs. These players that play for West Ham, and when you start off in youth team football, you dream of them big European nights against the elite teams, the Juventus, the AC Milan, the Inter Milans, the PSGs, and that is being taken away from them. They're not going to have that now. They're not. Them big teams are not going to be in that Champions League competition. So it's just going to be like a posh Europa League, really, isn't it?
Yeah, basically that's all it's going to be.
I'll take that.
Yeah, no,
I'd rather go and play the likes of Lazio, Bayern Munich than that. If we get in that Champions League by default, I'd go and play them over playing fucking Man United and all of them any day of the week.
But that's the thing is like you look at competitions like the FA Cup. The FA Cup has been won by a predominantly top side for the past 20 years. You know, you've had the odd side winning it who's not inside that so-called Big Six. You know, so it makes that more competitive. It makes the League Cup more competitive. Everything to be more competitive. The game won't die if these 6 clubs disappear. As much as these 6, some of the supporters, not all, and as much as these 6 clubs want to believe that they are the be-all and end-all, football in this country was around before money was running the game. And it will continue to be around if money goes. And that's the thing. We need to stop looking at it. These six clubs go, it's the end of what it is. It's not.
No, it's not the end, but it does affect us money-wise, Scott, because these big TV companies, that's what they pay the money for, the rights to watch the Cities, the Chelseas. I mean, Anthony's saying now, is this an opportunity to reinvent our game?
Massively.
You know, start again, you know?
Yeah, that's it. And that's the thing. And the thing is, when you look at it from a lower league club, you know, the Premier League generates money for lower league teams. You know, and lower league teams in return help out the top clubs by taking their players on loan. You know, it's why we have the pyramid system, and it's why this country's got the most successful top division in the world. And this is what I think a lot of people bypass. They don't realise that the Premier League is only as strong as it is because of the teams that prop the Premier League up.
I mean, you look at these fans of the likes of City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and I know, like, I've got a good mate that supports Arsenal, and you know he loves going to the away days at the Burnleys and things like that. That's what we're there for. You know, you go to these grounds, and newly promoted clubs. You want to, you know, they come up and they want to play these big boys. I mean, Lewis is saying there, all the world's most influential players should come together and protest. That will stop it. Messi, Ronaldo, Kane, Mbappe, etc. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if all them players turned around and said, we don't want nothing to do with that? Imagine then what that'd do. You know, fucking Tottenham will have to get Jamie O'Hara to play in the Super League for them.
And that's it at the end of the day. That's what we need. We need these big personalities, these big brand players that the brands go to. You know, because let's look at it realistically. If Ronaldo and Messi and all that ain't in the World Cup,
I would even go this far. I would even go as far as to turn around and fucking hire some gangsters to get to these players and say, you better not fucking play in this thing. I would, honestly.
No, but you know, you want to see players like that make a stand. You know, you look at what Ronaldo does, and there's other players. You know, Mane at Liverpool, what he does for his own country, you know, for people in his own country, you know, looking to build things for the communities and stuff like that. These are the players that have got to stand up and say, hold on a minute, this needs to stop. You know, we need to take the game back to the fans.
Scott, like it's like West Ham. Like, look, my wall is covered with legends that have built our club. You know, and every single one of them clubs, you go to their grounds, they got statues and pictures of legends that have built their football clubs, and without them, there won't be football clubs now. Yeah. And they're shitting on all their hard work that they've done. They're shitting on them, and it's a disgrace. And you know, am I really shocked? Nah. Not really, because it's all about money. And Tottenham have got that new stadium. They'll do anything to pay that off. They've got so many debts. They're going to do anything. They're like a prostitute. They're just going to whore themselves out, aren't they? You know, Arsenal. It's fucking.
One of the best things I read earlier on Twitter was the fact that Arsenal get 300 million and the chairman back pockets 280 million. You know, what's to say he ain't going to do that?
Wasn't it their chairman that was one of the main people in getting this done?
Yeah, because it generates money. That's what it all boils down to. It's just generating money for themselves. That's all it is.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing Harry Kane lift the Premier League trophy for West Ham next season. Nah, look, joking aside, but I mean, how long we go? You boys got anything left to say before we go? No.
I'm just very interested to see how this all plans out, because
I think the next couple of days are going to be very interesting.
The thing is, I think it'll go ahead. I think it will go ahead. But it's very interesting to see the players. You know, you can't have players turn around and go, "Oh no, I don't support it, but go and play in it." I'm very interested to see how the players react. I'm very interested to see how the managers react. I'm very interested to see how the fans react. And I'm very interested to see. The thing is,
it's funny as well, isn't it, mate? It's funny as well that they've done this when fans can't attend games. Could you imagine if fans could get to games, what it'd be like on the next?
They can. Right? They'll be able to attend games by August when it all
that's what I'm saying.
Off. But what I'm saying is, I'm going to be very interested to see, like, basically now, if you're a player, this is my opinion. Everybody in the country is saying, nah, this is wrong. They've got. I know they're contracted, but this is going to show the mercenaries from the football fans. This is going to show the people that want to play for the country and all that. And to be fair, let the mercenaries go and play in this fucking Tin Pot League. Let them go and play in the Tin Pot League. It gives other people a chance to elevate themselves. And that's as I said. Like, do you think the Arsenals and the Tottenhams and all of this are going to sustain a place as a European top 20 club? Yeah. In there on not credential or merit, but in there on, I don't know, fucking because they've been invited to it, when they're coming last in the league every single year. After 10 years of that, do you think they're going to keep them there just for a laugh, or do you think they're going to promote another team that might be the top team coming up, and they say, do you want to come? You can fuck off now, and they won't even be able to join the league.
Yeah. This, I don't know whether this is Klopp's interview tonight.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, my feelings didn't change. Me and the players are not involved in any process. I like that West Ham have a chance of playing the Champions League.
I think, and that's
the most
one
important part of LFC is the supporters in the team. We need to make sure nothing gets.
I think that's one thing that we've got to get out of this tonight, and people watching this. We're not against the fans. We're not slagging off fans of any of these clubs, of Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea. We stand with you. You know, I couldn't imagine West Ham being in this situation, because if West Ham was in this situation, I'd walk away. I wouldn't want nothing to do with it, West Ham, because that would be my club. My club's dead if that happened. And I do feel sorry for these loyal fans that, you know, because I feel that people feel like they're attacking the fans. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's the clubs. It's the owners. I mean, yeah, like Troops. You know, he loves his football club. You know, he loves Arsenal. All them boys do, and I can't imagine how they're feeling tonight. I really can't, because it's embarrassing for them that they've been dragged. Their names, the fans are getting dragged through this when they don't deserve to. It's down to the owners at the end of the day. And these owners, listen, it's that saying: players and owners will come and go, but fans will always be there. They're there to pick up the shit that the owners leave you in. You know, I do feel sorry for him. I really do. I'll stand by him. As Nicky said, I'll stand by him all day long.
Mm-hmm.
If they wanted to protest, I'd stand shoulder to shoulder with any of them top 6 fans. If they were serious about stopping it, I'd turn up to Tottenham's training ground. I'd turn up to Man United's training ground. I'd turn up to, you know, Arsenal. The fans don't, you know, no matter what you think of fans, as you say, you know, you don't choose your football club. Your football club chooses you if you're a true fan.
Exactly.
And
yeah, we banter fans because we do, but we support our club because it's the club we grew up loving. It's where we're from. Even if you're not from the area, it's the club that attracted you to football, and you stuck by them through thick and thin. We've been up and down over the years, but we still turn up to the London Stadium when we can. 60,000 fans there week in, week out. Look at the shit that, I mean, Troops is watching now. Look at the shit that Arsenal have been through in the past 10 years. But they still go home and away in Europe as well, and they follow them all over. Chelsea fans are the same. They're loyal fans. London clubs have got loyal fans, and Man City as well. Loyal fans. Man United, Liverpool as well. They're great clubs, and I just feel like that their names, their fans are getting dragged through the mud, and it's not their fault.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, look, we'll leave it there. It's been a bit different tonight on the social. I think this is it just had to be spoken about, and it's a difficult situation, and it's one that's I'm sure we're gonna be talking about on Friday Night Pint, on everything. It's just gonna be a conversation that's gonna roll on. But look, Scott, Nick, thank you so much for joining me tonight, mate. Good to get your thoughts and opinions. Nicky's obviously got another video that he recorded last night, so go back and watch that. You get 19 minutes of Nicky non-stop talking on that one. No, but listen, look, I love it when you say your rants, and it's because it comes from the heart, and it's Scott does it as well, and it's coming from the heart. You know, we're passionate football fans, and tonight we're sitting here sticking up for Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City fans. You know, every fan around the country, we're sticking by them. So, but look, everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We've got coming up. We've got musings this week, Nicky Hawkins.
Yeah, we have got we definitely will have
we've got a musings. Scott will have a preview for the Chelsea game if there's a game to go ahead. We don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of days. Scott might have a weekend off, but Friday Night Pint will be back. And yeah, look, just keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us, boys. One thing left to say. Come on,
you irons.
Come on, you irons.